Hi guys, I'm Ian Bucher and this is another Crash Course video. Today we're going to be talking about Manifest Destiny, the causes of the war with the Mexicans, the Treaty of Guadalupe, and James K. Polk, our president.
Alright, Manifest Destiny was the idea that the U.S. had to spread from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the Pacific Ocean. John O'Sullivan was an American writer who coined this term. Here's a quote from him. "We are the nation of human progress, and who will, what can, set limits to our onward marching." The U.S. was a progressing nation through manufacturing, farming, and our ever-growing population. We were only about 7 years old, and we were one of the world powers, but we needed more space. And so basically, to break down this quote, no one was going to stop us from getting from coast to coast. It was inevitable. And it was popular for most Americans, and also it was a driving force of the Mexican-American War. So here's another quote by him that explains it a little bit more. "America's manifest destiny to overspread and possess the whole continent of Providence, Providence meaning God, has given us the development of the great experiment of liberty." So this also shows how they want to take over the whole continent. Like, this is theirs. This land was given to America by God, and they'll do whatever they want to have it. But it was also tied to slavery because of the Missouri Compromise, where all the slave states and northern states were split. So if they acquired this new land, would slave states be there too? And that was a really big issue, but people kind of kicked that to the side. And also, this push for new territories, such as northern Mexico, which is what we're going to get onto.
Great Britain and Spain were sharing land in the Oregon country, and Spain did not own any more land by 1820. The U.S. and Great Britain had agreed to share Oregon as a state of the U.S. James K. Polk was a Democratic politician from Tennessee, and he wanted to acquire Texas and Oregon. He ran for presidency against Henry Clay, and because of his ideas that Texas should remain a slave-free state, he edged out Henry Clay and won the election. Now the battle over borders had gone south to Mexico and the U.S. The U.S. believed that the border between the U.S. and Mexico was the Rio Grande River, and the Mexicans believed that the border was the Nueces. The two countries eventually clashed, causing war. I have here a quote from him that helped him persuade Congress that they would start war. "Mexico has passed the boundary of the U.S., has invaded our territory, and shed American blood on American soil. The two nations are now at war." And because of this, he persuaded Congress to declare war on the Mexicans 2 days later. In the war, the U.S. asked for 50,000 volunteers, and they ended up getting a turnout of 200,000. Polk then sent a diplomat to Mexico City to try to buy Texas and New Mexico for $30 million, but the Mexicans refused to speak to him. They argued over land, and they signed a treaty that eventually set the border at 54 degrees, 40 degrees north.
The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was a treaty signed between the U.S. and Mexico. The treaty said that the U.S. will get back all their land claims from Mexico. The land turned over is called the Mexican Cession. This included our current U.S. states such as California, Nevada, and Utah. The land turned over also include most parts of Arizona and Mexico, and some parts of Wyoming and Colorado.
There were many benefits of the Mexican-American War, one of them being the U.S. gained over 500,000 square acres of land in areas such as California and New Mexico.
Another cause of the Mexican-American War was the annexation of Texas. This was when the United States absorbed Texas into one of the 50 states, allowing it to become a slave state. This angered many Mexicans as they felt Texas was an independent nation and did not deserve to be absorbed by the United States. Another problem that caused the war was that Mexico did not acknowledge the Treaty of Velasco, which set the southern border of Texas at the Rio Grande River and not the Nueces River, which is much farther north. Since the U.S. won the war, they had the ability to control the outcome. Some of the benefits they had from winning the war was that in the Mexican Cession, they made Mexico give all of its territory up in California, parts of Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming were also given up to the United States. After all this was said and done, Mexico had lost over 55% of its previous territories and land.
Would you look at the time? It's summary time. Okay, so today in our crash course, we talked about the manifest destiny, in which the Americans moved from the east to the west, progressing. We also gained 500,000 acres from Mexico and decided on the Guadalupe Treaty. And lastly, we talked about the Mexican Cession, in which the U.S. gained 500,000 square miles from Mexican territory.
Thank you for watching this very special crash course on the Mexican-American War.